What's going on, everybody? I'm Garen. You're watching Hotography. On today's episode, we're talking about the do's and don'ts of digital photography and video, because it's kind of the same thing. Just, yeah. What's up, everybody? My name's Garen with Hotography. I already mentioned that earlier, but I'm just going to say it again. On today's episode, we're talking about the do's and don'ts of digital photography and video. My number one would definitely have to be learn to shoot in manual mode. I can't tell you how many people I've run across that have been shooting in TV mode, or they have been shooting in auto. And that's great for beginners, don't get me wrong. But whenever you're trying to up your game, become a little, if you're trying to just up your game a little bit, it's always best to just crank it in manual. That way you can be in full control of your aperture, your ISO, your f-stop. Today's modern cameras and even phones are amazing with their auto features. However, it's always best to just learn and get your hands on your gear and really figure out what this expensive, the thing that I'm using right now to film, how wonderful that is if you just click it into a manual mode and start exploring. That was creepy. Number two, invest in your training. This is a huge one. It's important to me now that I'm kind of a trainer and someone who likes to instruct and teach. When you're starting off, things are really confusing. I get that. I was there, trust me. I'm still kind of there because I'm learning every single day. YouTube channels such as Peter McKinnon, he was able to teach me a lot of ways to run with my camera and learn more in that manual mode like I mentioned earlier, and really figure out exactly how this camera works. But I wasn't alone. There's people out there that have created channels, that have created websites just specifically for training. I'm going to list a few down below in the comments section. Please take a gander and let me know what you think about those. Number three, do learn your post-processing. And what I mean by that is your editing. After you take that picture, there's so much more you can do with it. Within Lightroom, Photoshop, if you're doing video work, Adobe After Effects and Premiere, to actually manipulate that work that comes right out of the camera. That's some magical stuff, folks. Number four, it's kind of a tie-in with some of the other stuff that I'm talking about, but it's learning how to use your gear to its full potential. And what I mean by that is really taking the time to learn the camera and the gear that you have. That can differ from camera to camera, from pro gear to the cheap kind of stuff that you buy when you first kind of starting off and you don't really know what you want to do, but you're doing it anyway and you're like, I don't know what's going on. Whatever it is, make sure that you take the time to just ingest it. And I don't mean eat it, I mean actually look at it. Turn on the menus and figure it out and push buttons and mess it up and then reboot it and then start it from scratch again. And then get in there and really learn how to use the gear, because that's the only way you're going to be able to take a better image and a better video is if you know what you're using. And if you don't, once again, you can go online and there's some amazing tutorials on how to actually just use your camera. Number five. Remove that flash off of that camera and put it somewhere else. I'm not talking about don't use it. I'm talking about just place it somewhere else. Being able to use a flash somewhere else other than on top of your camera allows your freedom of imagination to go wild. You could take it off, put a little wireless adapter onto it, hook that on your camera and be able to go anywhere and everywhere you want to go. I'll put a link down below so you can take a peek. They're super cheap. It's super awesome. Guarantee you're going to have a good time. Guarantee. That's my name, Garen. Oh man, I'm funny. Number six, do get up early and stay up late. Sometimes those shots can just be obtained by getting the sunrise first thing in the morning, the glow that comes out and engulfs the whole land. Or sometimes it's the evening light that kind of, whispers away, and it just kind of adds this just ambience and this mysticism, all these words that I'm just now coming up in my head that are describing magic. Number seven, learn how to shoot in overcast. When it's a little bit rainy outside and there's not much going on and people are kind of like, it's raining and I don't know what to do. I know what to do. Grab the camera, let's get the heck out. The light is perfect. Overcast is my favorite time to shoot because it kind of gives me that sense of mysticism and kind of eeriness, but the best part about it is that the light is even. It evenly coats everything. It looks really pretty. It's not harsh, and you have to change your settings around. overcast light is the best light. Number 8, learn how to clean your gear. I don't suggest licking your thumb and put it on your lens. That's horrible. Don't do that. Ugh, that's gross. If you own a DSLR and you're shooting on that, a lot of them have like this image sensor cleaning capability built into it. But a lot of times what you need to do is just take your lens off and open up the cap and grab yourself a rag and don't lick it. But just make sure you take the time to actually clean out your gear. And oh God, what is that? You never really know where you've been and what it collects. And trust me, after using my gear just for a few days, God knows where I've been. But I would advise getting you at least a microfiber cloth on mine. I bought this one on Amazon. Look how big this thing is. It's crazy how big this thing is. These things go for like a few dollars, but I'll put a link down below, and trust me, you're going to definitely need 1 or 3 of these. Number 9. Wow, that was good. You hear that? Number 9. Oh yeah, baby, number 9. Use a tripod. The handheld, I just wasn't able to get it, and God, I wish I had a pair of sticks. Sticks meaning tripod. I can't tell you how many times I was on set or outside on a shoot and I was working handheld and I just couldn't get the shot because my settings were set to where things were just, I couldn't get a sharp image. God, I wish I had a pair of sticks to be able to really, really capture that. Especially if you're shooting any kind of like landscape or long exposure. There's no way you can hold your camera that still for that long. I mean, some photos take up to 45 minutes to an hour just to take. There's no way that you can hold your camera that still for that long. Trust me. I've tried. And finally, number 10, just practice. Practice, practice, practice. That's it. Just practice your craft. That's all you have to do. Someone very, very wise and important told me many, many years ago, creating something beautiful takes time. It takes a whole lot of practice, a whole lot of learning, a whole lot of research. It doesn't matter what gear you have. It doesn't matter. It just matters how good you can get with what you have. And that's going to take some practice. Take whatever camera you have, get out there, and just practice. Get better with what you got. Learn how to use that lighting. Stick your camera on some sticks and be able to get rid of that shake. Once you're done, go home, throw it into Lightroom and be able to really manipulate and tweak the image the way you really see it. And finally, whenever you see that you have something kind of decent and something kind of cool, you can only improve it by practicing and going over it again and again and again. So by no means necessary is this like the end-all be-all list of like the do's and don'ts. This is just a personal thing I wanted to get out there really quick today and let you know exactly what I'm feeling as far as the things you need to focus on right now if you have just gotten a camera, or maybe you've had your camera for a while and you're kind of looking to do something different with it. But don't fret. That's why I made this channel, to be able to learn what I can and vomit all that knowledge onto your screens. And that's the worst analogy I could ever come up with. That is disgusting. All right, guys, that about does it for me. I actually have to go pack and do laundry. We're leaving for Mexico like in a day and some change. We're working on the Rock Legends cruise, and it's going to be amazing. There's going to be so much footage. Man, we're going to have a lot to talk about when I get back. Let me tell you that. So in the meantime, hit the subscribe button, give me a like, share on social media, and until we see each other again, au revoir.